Hey guys, welcome back to One Seed, One World. So today I'm going to be transplanting yarrow and wanted to go over a few things about yarrow with you that I found to be pretty interesting. So today we'll cover a little bit of history of yarrow, some of its uses, and some tips on transplanting. Now this flower bed, which doesn't look much like a flower bed right now, has changed a lot over the years. It started off as just kind of like a pollinator garden where I had a mix of wildflower seeds in here. The first year it was primarily cosmos. The second year it was almost all sunflowers as different things kind of took over and controlled the area. I had other things mixed in here like cornflower and Indian blanket, lupine, yarrow, cosmos, sunflowers, black-eyed Susans, I think, and a few other things that would pop up randomly. But each year there was always a specific flower that would kind of take over the area. Now over the last 2 years, this area has become just pretty much yarrow. So now this year I'm already seeing that it's pretty much going to be all yarrow, with the exception of one echinacea coneflower that's back here that's trying to pop up through, but the rest of the area is mostly surrounded by yarrow. So I want to transplant a lot of it out, and this area is actually going to be replaced with a kitchen herb garden bed, which I will do in a future video, so look out for that. But yarrow is a very interesting plant, has a lot of uses over many thousands of years, and today we are going to transplant it. Now there are hundreds of varieties nowadays of yarrow. The primary one that most people use are of a specific species of Achillea millefolium. I'll put the word down below and you can do the pronunciation yourself. It's one of those Latin terms that I'm not always so good with. But within that species there's multiple varieties of many different colors, and they can be white, yellow, orange, lavender, coral, purple, reds, all kinds of stuff that you can get, and you can try these different mixes. It's a very hardy plant and will eventually take over an area, as you might be able to see a little bit on the camera here. This is all yarrow through here. So if you have a bed that maybe you're not doing a whole lot with, or that maybe is being overtaken by weeds, thistles, that kind of thing, yarrow might be a good thing to fill it with, because not only does it have a lot of uses, but it will give you pretty flowers throughout the summer, and also choke out a lot of the weeds. So there's that. Now, when is the best time to transplant yarrow? Your best times are going to be either early spring or early fall, when it's cool, the plant hasn't started to flower yet, when it's still kind of getting going. That will put the less amount of shock on your plant during transplanting, because during the summer it's putting a lot of its energy into the flowering and whatnot. And so you kind of want to get it before that. You can transplant it during the summer, but it will be better for the plant if you do it in spring or early fall, either before the flowering or after the flowering. So we're going to go ahead and get this started, and we'll show you kind of what's going on and go over a few facts about yarrow that you might find interesting and helpful. Probably its first known use was for wound healing. It was used on battlefields to stop bleeding. Even Achilles packed it in his satchel. That's where the name Achillea comes from. Now in ancient China, it wasn't used for wounds. It was used for wisdom. Yarrow stalks were sacred tools for divination in the I-Ching, which is an ancient text that predates the Bible. They would use a stack of like 50 yarrow stalks to predict the future. And then there's a whole lot of math involved in this, which would take a whole nother video just to go over how the I-Ching divination with yarrow stalks is done, and maybe I'll do that in the future. In European herbalism, it was used to treat fevers, toothaches, and stomach issues. It was usually brewed as a tea or even chewed fresh. In Celtic and some Native American traditions, it was burned in rituals to ward off bad energy. And for those of you out there that are more of the romantic type, it's also been tied into wedding bouquets and love charms, said to bring luck and loyalty. So if you're having some relationship problems or worried about the loyalty of your loved one, maybe give them a little bouquet of yarrow, and that will help bring about some better outcomes for you. So here's a question I get a lot. If it helps blood clot, isn't it dangerous to drink it in a tea or in a beer? Actually, not really. Yarrow's clotting effects are mostly topical. When you drink it, it's broken down by your digestive system. In small amounts, it's actually been used to help ease cramps, fevers, and digestive issues. It even showed up in beer recipes before hops took over. It added flavor and a bit of preservation without messing with your blood. However, here's your warning. Now, if you are on blood thinners or have clotting disorders, steer clear of concentrated yarrow extracts or tea. For the average healthy person, a little yarrow in your tea isn't going to turn you into a human clot. But you need to be careful. You should always, consult a dietitian, your doctor, or an herbalist before ingesting yarrow or any other type of herb that might have a negative effect on you if you are on other types of medication or might have other health issues. Okay, so enough with the history. Let's get on with this transplanting. Here's a couple of transplanting tips. When you're first digging it up, you want to dig deep and wide. Now, you don't have to dig super deep because they don't have like a massively deep root system. It's actually, as plants go, fairly shallow. But you want to get a decent root ball around them so that you're disturbing the roots as little as possible. Dig around as wide around the plant as you can, and then you can and then dig deep underneath so there's some dirt underneath the roots as much as possible. You can divide them up if you need to. If you have something massive that you don't want to transplant or would like to separate it into separate areas, you can cut it with a sharp shovel, sharp spade, whatever the term is that you use. You can divide it up. Just know that when you divide it, you're going to be cutting some roots, and we'll put a little bit more transplant shock into the plant, and it might take a little bit longer to recover. Once you get your plant into its new area, your transplant's in, you're going to give it a good deep watering when you first put it in, and then kind of ease off on the watering. Yarrow is drought tolerant. It does like a well-drained soil, and so you don't have to overdo it. It doesn't want to be in a place that's soggy, but keep an eye on it. It might need a couple of waterings in the beginning, and then you can kind of let Mother Nature take its course with the rains, and then just keep an eye on it as it settles into its new area. Okay, so that's some of the basic history, tips on transplanting, and uses of yarrow. It's back up there on the hill behind me, and I still have more that can be transplanted. I did the basically 4 biggest bunches that I had, and I may do more up there, or maybe transplant some other stuff around the yard. So we'll see how it goes as I start to create the new herb garden bed. But I hope you found that information helpful, and I appreciate that you're here hanging out with me again today. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, and click the like, share, and all that good stuff, and put your comments below on if you've transplanted yarrow, if you've used yarrow, if you planted it from seed, or if you've bought transplants from a nursery, how it all worked out for you and what you've used it for. put it all in the comments below. But I hope whatever's going on in your neck of the woods is working out fantastic for you, and that you're having a great 2025 spring planting season. But we will see you again soon, and have a great day. Namaste.